Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I made this beautiful two-piece. It is a flare shirt with a top that has a bow in front. My recreation is on the right side, and I would advise that for this style, you should use a Mikado fabric. Keep on watching and let's get started. These are the two fabrics I used in making mine. If you want the standing effect you saw on the inspiration, I would advise that you use a Mikado fabric for this style. Depending on your size, 3 yards is enough for this style. I am starting with the short first, and the measurement you'll be needing is the trouser length, the waist measurement, your hip measurement, and the crotch line measurement. Now I have a line marked across the paper, and that will serve as the starting line, which also serves as the waistline. This short will have a waistband of 1.5 inches. That means whatever measurement I'll be taking, I'll take out the 1.5 inches. I'll place the 1.5 inch mark on the waistline before taking the rest of the measurements. The next step is to mark the crotch line. For instance, if your crotch line from your waist is 11 inches, you are going to add ease to it. You can add 2 inches or 3 inches depending on how big your bum is. So now for mine, I'll be adding 2 inches to mine, so I'll go ahead and mark 13 inches. The reason why I am adding ease to the crotch line is because this short is a high waist short. So if you don't add ease, you won't be able to wear it comfortably. Now I am labeling the line, the waistline and the crotch line. The next step is to mark the length of this short, and the length I am working with is 18 inches. After marking, I'll connect that into a straight line. The next step is to mark the hip measurements divided by 4. Mark that measurement on the crotch line and go ahead and mark it on the waistline and connect with a straight line. Now, take your waist measurements divided by 4, mark it and add 1 inch allowance for that. After marking, I'll connect that point to the crotch line. Next, I'll go in with the nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. For mine, it is 4 inches, and I'll mark the length of the dart, which is at 5 inches, and I'll connect it with a straight line. We added 1 inch allowance for that, so I'll go in with ½ inch on both sides of the dart leg and I'll connect it like so. The next step is to mark the crotch extension. For me, I will use 2.5 inches as the crotch extension. From that point, go up by 2 inches and also come out by 1 inch. This is to enable you to get a good curve at this point. If your hip is between 38 to 40 and below, you can use 2 inches extension, but if it is above that, you can use 2.5 to 3 inches for the crotch extension. The next step is to measure what you have on the crotch line and place that same measurement on the trouser length line and connect with a straight line. The next thing I'll be doing is to add 1 inch allowance to this short and I'll connect with a straight line. That is all on this front pattern for the short. I'll cut it out now. I have placed this front pattern on another piece of paper and I used my masking tape to hold it down. The first thing I'll be doing to the crotch part is to extend it by 2 inches at the top there and 1 inch at the bottom, and I'll connect like so. At the top, I'll go in by 2 inches and we're going to replace that 2 inches on this other side. So we place that 2 inches there and mark the 2 inches all the way down to the end of the short and connect like so. To enable the short to sit perfectly at the back, Extend it at the top there by 1.5 inches and connect with a straight line. Then at the crotch area, come down by 0.5. This is also to enable the crotch sit well on the bum, and then you're going to connect with your curved ruler like you see me doing with mine. At this point, you can take out the front pattern so that you can see what you're doing on the back pattern. The next step is to mark the nipple to nipple measurement, and which is 4 inches. I will mark it, and the length of the dart is also 5 inches. I will mark that measurement also and connect it into a straight line. I'll go out by ½ inch on both sides of the dart leg and I'll connect like so. That is all on the back pattern. I'll cut it out now. But for the front pattern, at the crotch area, come down by 0.5 and connect it to the other side like so. So for the front pattern, cut out the ½ inch part you came down at the crotch area. Cut it out like so. The next step is to get the midpoint at the bottom of the short and connect it into a straight line to meet the dart line. And then I'll close the dart on the short and slash through the line I have on the pattern. I'll be making use of the slash and spread method to achieve the flare on the short. Slash through the line, but don't cut it out completely. I'll be repeating the same process for the back pattern. Also get the midpoint and connect it to meet the dart line. I'll close the dart and also slash through so we can easily spread the pattern on the fabric while cutting. I have transferred the pattern to fabric here, and the space I have in between the part I spread open is 8.5 inches. You can do more than 8.5 inches depending on how full you want the short to be. You can do up to 12 inches, 15 inches. I added ½ inch allowance to the side of the pattern, the top, the crotch area, the other side, and also at the bottom of the pattern. I'll take out the pattern now so that we can see what we have. So I have 2 pieces for this front pattern. For the back pattern, I have done the same thing. The same allowance I left for the front pattern is what I also left on this back pattern. I'll take out the pattern now so that we can see what we have. You can add as much allowance you want when you are transferring to fabric. I also have 2 pieces for the back, and what I'm going to do next is to go ahead and stitch the crotch area. So I'll go ahead and stitch the crotch area of the back. For the front pieces, I'll be making use of the zipper fly. I want my zip to be in front, so I have a tutorial on my channel on how to do this. I'll put the link in the description box so that you can watch the video I made on how to fix your zipper fly and your zip. I'll go ahead and do that now, and I'll bring it back and show you. This was after I was done fixing the zip to the front, and you can see what we have. The next step is to work on the pockets. So now I have cut out these 2 pieces of fabric. The standard measurement for pockets is to get at least 14 inches in length and 7 inches in width, and you are going to cut 4 pieces. But for this tutorial, my pocket is a little bit short. That is why I'm giving you the standard measurement so that you don't make use of this short one that I did for this short. Place 1 piece of fabric on the short. Make sure that the right side is facing each other. And the next thing you're going to mark is to come down from the waistline by 1 inch. And from that 1 inch point, you're going to mark 6 inches and go ahead and stitch from that point up to the 6 inches point. That will serve as the pocket opening. This is after I was done stitching, and you're going to notch the part where the stitch ends at the top and bottom, and also top stitch on the pocket. You are going to place the second piece of the fabric at the back. Make sure that the right side of the pocket is facing the wrong side of the short, and then place it together like so. You can use your pin to secure it together, and after that you're going to place the back of the short on it. Make sure that the right side is facing each other, and go ahead and run a stitch from the top to the bottom of the short. Be mindful of the pocket opening while stitching so that you don't close it. I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side of the short. This is after I was done stitching, and the next step is to stitch around the pockets, the part you see me marking. After stitching, you can see that this is what we have, but we have not closed the pockets, so that is why you have to run that stitch around the pockets. I am done fixing the pocket on both sides of the short here, and this is what we have. You can go ahead and press it flat. The next step is to work on this part of the short. Go ahead and pin it together. Make sure that the stitch is matching up, and go ahead and stitch with 1/2 inch to secure that part. After that, I'll also hem the bottom of the pants. This is what we have. You can see that I already finished the hem of the trouser, and I went to overlock all the inner seams with the overlocker. So this is what we have on the short now. The next step is to fix the waistband. The waistband I have here is about 2 inches in a fold, and I already folded 1/2 inch from one side of the band. I had that interfacing to this band also. Now I'll pin it to the short. I'll make sure that the right side is facing each other, and please leave allowance before you start pinning the band to the trouser. After pinning, I'll go ahead and stitch with 1/2 inch. This is after I was done stitching one side of the band to the short. The next thing is to close this part of the band. So go ahead and place it like so and secure it down with a stitch on both sides. Once I was done with that, I went ahead to pin the band to the short on the other side. I'll go ahead and run a stitch in between the band and the short. So that means by the time I'm done stitching, you won't be seeing the stitch at the front of the band. You will only see the stitch at the back. So this is the finished look of the short. I went ahead to put my hook and eye. You can make use of your buttonhole and button depending on your preference, but this is the finished look of the short. I have the shoulder line, the chest line, the bust line, the underbust line, and the waist line. Shoulder to the chest line is 8.5 inches, to the bust line is 11 inches, to the underbust is 14 inches, and to the waistline is 18 inches. I'll go in with the shoulder measurements divided by 2 plus 0.5 inch for seam allowance. I'll mark it on the shoulder line and also on the chest line, and I'll connect with a straight line. Next, I'll go in with the neck width and the neck depth. I'll use a neck depth of 3 inches and a neck width of 3.5 inches, and I'll connect with a curve. From the shoulder line, I'll come down by 1.5 inches for the shoulder slope, and I'll connect with a straight line into the neck width. Next, I'll go in with the bust measurements divided by 4. I'll mark it on the chest line, and from that point, I'll go up by 3 inches, and at the 3 inches mark, I'll go in by 0.75, and I'll connect the 3 points together to form the armhole. The next step is to go in with the waist measurements divided by 4, and I'm adding 2 inches allowance for that, and I'll connect with my curve. On the bust line, I'll mark the nipple to nipple measurement, that is the bust span measurements divided by 2. For the measurement I'm working with is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4 inches. I'll mark 4 inches on the bust line and also on the waistline, and I'll connect with a straight line. I'll come out by 1 inch on both sides of the dart leg on the waistline, and I'll connect with a straight line to the bust point. The next step is to mark the bust dart. The difference between the front and the back half length is 2 inches. So from the bust line, I'll come down by 2 inches and I'll connect with a straight line to the bust point. On the under bust line, I'll mark the round under bust measurements divided by 4. And from that point, whatever I have left, I'll divide it on both sides of the under bust line, on both sides of the dart line. On the side facing the center front, I'm putting 0.75 and I'm putting 1 inch on the side facing the side front, and I'll connect with my curve to the bust point. After connecting to the bust point, I'll also connect it to the waistline like so. If there is any pointy part, you can blend like I'm doing with mine here. You don't need any sharp point on the pattern. I want the neckline of this bustier dress to start from the chest line. So the neckline of this dress will start from the chest line. Notice the way I am placing my curved ruler. I'm placing it on the chest line, and at the same time the curvy part is at the armhole point. Take note of the way I placed it and then go in with your marker. Now the next thing is to extend that nipple to nipple measurement to the top of the new neckline we have. Mark the 4 inches again and connect into the bust point. The next thing is to tighten the neckline. I'll come out by 1/2 inch on both sides of the dart leg and I'll connect it with a straight line to the bust point. That is all on the front pattern. I'll cut it out now. In case you want to add a yoke to this pattern, this upper part will be useful for you. I'll cut out the parts we don't need on the yoke. In case you want a yoke for this dress, this part will be very useful for you. But for this style, I am not going to add a yoke to this dress. I am adding a strap sleeve. You are going to take note of this length from the shoulder to the point where the neckline started for the dress. This is what will help you to determine the length of the strap you are going to cut out. I have the shoulder line, the chest line, and the waist line. Shoulder to the chest line is 8.5 inches and to the waistline is 16 inches. I have a zip allowance of 1.5 inches by the side of the pattern. I'll go in with the shoulder measurements divided by 2 plus 0.5 inch for seam allowance. I'll mark it on the shoulder line and also on the chest line, and I'll connect with a straight line. Next, I'll mark the neck depth and the neck width. I'll use a neck depth of 1.5 inches and a neck width of 3.5 inches, and I'll connect with a curve. Here, I am extending the neck width to the zip allowance. I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant and I'll connect it into the neck width. Next, I'll go in with the bust measurements divided by 4 and I'll mark it on the chest line. From the shoulder slope, I'll divide what I have left into 2 and get the midpoint. At the midpoint, I'll go in by 0.5 and I'll connect those 3 points together to form the armhole. On the waistline, I'll go in with the waist measurements divided by 4. I'll mark it and I'll also add 1 inch allowance for that. And I'll connect the points together with my curved ruler. The next step is to mark the bust span measurement, that is the nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. I'm marking 4 inches here. I'll mark it on the waistline. From the chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch. That is where I'm going to place the measurement and I'll connect with a straight line. I added 1 inch allowance for that to the waist measurement, so I'll come out by 1/2 inch on both sides of the dart leg and I'll connect it like so. Here, I'm extending the chest line to the zip allowance. I am doing this because the neckline of the back will also start from the chest line. Same thing we did for the front, the neckline started from the chest line. Now I will extend the dart leg to the new neckline and take in 0.25 on both sides of the dart leg, and I will connect straight to the waistline. That is all for the back pattern I am cutting out now. Here I'll close the dart on this back piece because I don't want a dart on the back pattern. Close it like so and use a masking tape to secure it. Now that the back pattern is just plain, you need to label it so that you don't get confused in identifying the sides of the pattern. So you can point a arrow to the top and write your side back on the side back. You can place notches on the pattern so that you can easily identify which part is which one. I'll continue cutting out the upper part, even though I don't need it in this project. For in case you want to add a yoke, this part will be useful for you. But the reason why I'm cutting it out is to easily measure the length of strap I will cut out to attach to the dress. I have transferred the front patterns to fabric, and this is what we have. I added 1.5 inches for the side allowance, and I added ½ inch to the rest of the pattern all around, top and bottom. And I've taken out the pattern. Now you can see what we have. I have also cut out my lining piece. What I'll be doing next is to go ahead and place the side piece on the front piece, right side facing each other, and I'll go ahead and stitch with ½ inch allowance. So do that on both sides, and whatever process you are doing to the main fabric, repeat it on the lining. This is the back pattern, and I added ½ inch to the top and bottom and 1.5 inches for the side joining. And I have 2 pieces for the back. I have also cut out my lining. And this is what we have. This is after I was done joining the front pieces. I went ahead to press the seams flat, and the next step is to fix the strap. To get the measurements for the strap needed, place the yoke of both the front and the back together and measure what you have there. Whatever measurement you get is what you are going to use to cut out the strap. So now I'll place the strap on the joining I have on the front piece and pin it together. After that, I'll place the lining on top and go ahead and run a stitch on the neckline. This is after I was done running the stitch. I went ahead to top stitch on the lining. The next step is to fix the strap to the back piece. To get where you're going to fix your strap, measure your nipple to nipple measurements from the center back. Don't forget to add your zipper allowance to it and go ahead and pin it to that point you measured. Now I'll place the back piece on the front piece. Make sure that the right side is facing each other and go ahead and pin your strap to it. Make sure that in the process of pinning, your strap is not folding. Make sure that you place it correctly. Once you are okay with the placement, now you are going to place the lining on the neckline also and go ahead and stitch it. Do the same thing on the other side. Go ahead and stitch. I am done stitching here, and this is what we have. The next step is to go ahead and stitch the hem of the top. Do it for both the front and the back. The next step is to go ahead and join the sides together. Place the back on the front, right side facing each other, and go ahead and stitch. This is after I was done joining the sides. I went ahead to overlock it, and the next step is to fix the zip. If you have watched up to this point, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. The next step is to work on the bow that will be attached to this top. So the width of this fabric is 20 inches and the length is 10.5. So this is the opening from which I was able to turn it inside out. I added interfacing to give this bow a little bit of effect. So you can decide to add interfacing to yours also. Now I'm just making plates to form the bow, and I'm going to put this piece of fabric to hold it at the center. I will use my needle and thread to tack it in place. You are going to place the bow on the center front. So get the midpoint at the center there, and you're going to use your needle and thread to tack it together. Thank you guys for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, leave a comment, share this video with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notification bell so you'll get notified anytime I upload a new video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.